Kile Jones, representing secular humanism. Kile Jones is a Ph.D. student in religion at Claremont Lincoln University. He's published articles in Zygon, Free Inquiry, and Philosophy Now, and his academic writing focuses on the possible relationships between unbelieving communities and liberal religious traditions. Kyle, please join us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very honored. This is really what interfaith and outer faith in my tradition, if I can say that, is. I mean, we're truly enacting this now, and it's an honor. I also wanted to point out the interesting irony of talking about nonviolence as a weapon. And I guess it's a non-lethal weapon. And so I really enjoyed that. So here's my take. I'm pretty sure most of us here, or at least some of us, are familiar with Alexander Pope's famous saying, "To err is human, to forgive divine." As a humanist, I think that to err is human and to forgive is human. Humanism, as far as I understand it, promotes forgiveness and reconciliation without any need for the supernatural, the spiritual, or the metaphysical. All that we need for forgiveness and reconciliation is empathy, sympathy, reason, and sentiments. In 2002, the French philosopher Jacques Derrida spoke to university students in South Africa about pure or radical forgiveness. One young student said at the end of his lecture, quote, "Don't you think that it fulfills an ideological function to speak to us, telling us in a sense we should not ask for forgiveness because then we ruin pure, unconditional forgiveness? At the same time, you are telling oppressed people they should forgive without expecting repentance?" End quote. This statement gets to the heart of what we think about forgiveness. Should forgiveness be contingent on repentance and apology? Should one forgive somebody for horrific evils? Are there some evils that should never be forgiven? As a humanist, I have no authoritative book, figurehead, or tradition, not even Richard Dawkins or Carl Sagan or any of these people. They're not even canon for me. Or tradition to point to in order to try and answer these difficult questions. All I can say is that forgiveness is contextual. We have to recognize that forgiveness can be used for good and bad. If forgiveness is a way to hide from confrontation and ignore evil, then I'm against it. If forgiveness is the delicate balance between truth and love that confronts evil and oppression without sliding into cynicism and apathy, I'm all for it. I'm not speaking for all humanists when I say this, but I do not think that forgiveness and reconciliation are altruistic or based in some kind of duty. In fact, one of the best reasons to forgive somebody is the way it makes you feel better about yourself. So I think we should not have selfless forgiveness. We should have self-full forgiveness. We should also think this way because, in my opinion, it is a contradiction to think that a self can do something selfless. Humanists often find a strong impetus for forgiveness and reconciliation because only people, in their view, not gods, not spirits, not forces, can better the world. As the humanist Eve Gerard once said, quote, "Indeed, our reason for forgiveness may be partly due to our lack of religious belief. If we don't choose to break the cycle of hatred, there isn't going to be anyone else to do it for us." But what about a duty to forgive? Do we have a duty to forgive and reconcile? I do not think so. In my mind, duty and forgiveness are mutually exclusive. Imagine this scenario. My partner wrongs me, and I forgive her. She then asks, "Why did you forgive me?" I respond by saying, "Because it was my duty as your partner to forgive you." What is wrong with my response? What's wrong is that my duty-based ethics has hidden any notion of care or personal concern. I would rather say to my partner, I forgave you because I love you. In conclusion, we only have 2 pages, right? So, in conclusion, the humanist perspective on forgiveness and reconciliation is one of sentimental concerns, self-full and freely given, which aims at bettering ourselves and the world. To err is human, and to forgive is human. Let us be humans tonight and try our best to forgive and reconcile. Thank you.